these speeds, he's able to move from community to community very fast. So we continue to monitor this. We're now in our 11:30 hour, and again, these are images from earlier. Forgive us as we show you things that you might have seen already, but we know that Scott's signal is going to clear up here momentarily, and we'll be able to find out exactly what's happened. But again, Hawthorne PD saying that this vehicle was stolen. It is reported stolen vehicle. The suspect in this chase has been willing to do any and all things to get away. Let's see if we can get back to Scott Reif now that we can have his signal in Westchester. Scott, are you there? It's still freezing here and there. Now we're back to black on that. So again, we're going to bear with us. We're going to try to get ourselves through this and see if we can resume the chase. And I think nope, that's earlier. So sometimes I get fooled as to what this person is willing to do. Okay, I can see it again. So he is driving a high rate of speed over onto the left shoulder now. And we have it off in the distance. It looks like Pershing Drive. This is very near the airport now, Scott. So you're going to be really limited as to what you can do.
Yeah, you know, he came northbound on Playa Vista and then went southbound on Pershing. Pershing runs just to the west side of LAX. And then once again, we got to get down along the shoreline, down to 150 feet, so that we can transition back and forth. And now we're going back south. Came northbound, made a couple of U-turns in that area, in the Playa del Rey area, and then went south on Pershing, and that's going to put him down back towards Imperial Highway and the 105 freeway if he continues to go the way that the suspect came in. But we lost you there. We apologize for that. It's really difficult to keep a signal at these low altitudes. We've got to hit a repeater, and sometimes it doesn't work. We understand it's a stolen vehicle, Philip, and we would hope we just cleared the center line at LAX so we can start to climb really quickly now. And it looks like the vehicle's coming right back towards us. As we picked him up, it looks like he came at us and then turned back to the north. So, boy, he's making it really tough for us. If we have to go back again to the north with LAX, it's just going to be a struggle.
Well, but he has been engaged by ground units now. It looks as if there's multiple right behind him as he heads back north in the direction that you can't go. Such is the nature of these chases. But it's a little bit different as far as what they are willing to do now. It doesn't seem as if he is going to be able to elude authorities who are right on him now.
No, they're going to be able to stay on him, and the CHP is still behind him, but I think, you know, another authority is going to take over here pretty soon that's really familiar with the Playa del Rey area. I believe it's going to be LAPD, and you can see all the units there. Because he went northbound, then he came southbound, then he turned around and came back to the north. You can see they were coming southbound, but they don't want to get in his way. They realize this is a suspect who does not want to stop. He's really probably willing to ram a vehicle, a patrol car, from what we've seen, because he's gone head-on into oncoming traffic in several situations. So there are a lot of patrol cars in the area.
I don't know if you could see it.
Well,
yeah, I don't know if you could see it, Scott, but the officer immediately behind him had to have his arm out the window and was giving the circling motion for some of his fellow officers to engage. And so that's when they did the U-turn to follow him. So, but now it looks as if I'm correct. If I am, he might be heading back southbound again up there on that road.
That's actually east. It's due east, going away from the street we were just on, and then to make a U-turn now. This is an area he hasn't been before. He went up in that area, but not on that street. We could see him before we lost the signal. But certainly, a lot of concern for this neighborhood. They're going to want to stop this. You know, somebody out walking their dog, somebody out riding their bike. A lot of that going on here, and you can see it's difficult to keep the camera in the right position because we've just been going back and forth so much. But we're going to see him come through one of these surface streets here again in a moment. But this is really taking a bad turn because we're seeing erratic driving in these residential neighborhoods in Playa del Rey. And, you know, you just hope this thing comes to an end soon and nobody gets hurt. But right now, it's extremely dangerous.
Well, it did seem as if there were a lot of police units on those streets right behind him, and if he's unable to navigate back to a main street, they're going to at least be able to. This is a very it's a labyrinth of roads in there, and if you're not familiar with it, I'm sure you're going to end up in a cul-de-sac, or it looks as if there's an officer there in front of you, but I don't know if that's the vehicle in front of him.
Yeah, we've lost him for a moment. I'm just trying to look out the window. Looks like he's back southbound now, and that's Pershing. So that's the same street that he was on a moment ago. Open up a little bit, and you'll see some perspective on where it is. LAX is off to the left side of the screen there. You see the plane. So for us, it's kind of hard to determine what we should do. Stay here and shoot it, or go south, almost lose the signal. Stay here for a moment, I think, and see exactly what happens, because we go down the shoreline. We have some difficulty time seeing this. He's made a turn, though, there. And if it continues, now we have to go around. Now we got to go ahead and go down. Well, we have to make a choice. We can go across on Sepulveda, but we have to climb up pretty high. So because of the erratic nature and the way he's gone north and south and north and south right near LAX, it's made it like one of the most difficult pursuits that I've ever covered, really, from the air, because it's so hard to stay on top of it. So I believe we're looking at Imperial Highway there. The sky map at this angle really won't give us exact streets, and that's where the suspect came in, if you remember, 105 to Imperial Highway and then all the way to Pershing, and we'll see. Now, that's not Imperial Highway. It's hard to tell for sure. I believe it is Imperial Highway. It's just the angle is tough to tell. So this is going to put the suspect
He's heading back towards the 105, I think.
Correct, yeah.
Because
and so we're going to climb.
I've
We got to
seen
go
that
2,500 feet.
little strip mall before, if you've ever gone to the airport and run right into Dockweiler Beach. He was basically near Dockweiler Beach, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where he just came from when he made that turn to go east on Imperial. So, a high-speed, dangerous pursuit with a suspect that's desperate to get away, nearly hit a couple of vehicles. Now CHP involved right behind him, air unit overhead. Been a little tricky because of the location, but it appears at this point in time they're not going to back off from the suspect. They're going to want to take this individual into custody. Once again, if you just started watching, we understand wanted for stolen vehicle. But yeah, another close call. We've seen so many of those.
Okay, now I'm looking, and it looks as if he was a little bit left, he would have been on the 101. Now he's maybe down on Sepulveda there, yeah? Is that what I'm looking at?
That's Sepulveda Boulevard. That is correct.
So he was about to intersect there. So, yeah, now there he is.
South on Sepulveda. So now we've got to get a permission to cross, and I think we've just got that from the tower at LAX. So we're going right over top of the airport. So we've got southbound on Sepulveda Boulevard, and you can see some traffic up ahead.
He stopped at that intersection. I don't know if he lost a tire but he ran right into that sidewalk there. Now the question is, what is he going to do?
Yeah, it looks like he stopped. I couldn't tell if he hit another vehicle before he came to a stop there.
I did not see him in a vehicle. It looked as if he just kind of pulled over at that corner right near that Bank of America.
All right, and it looks like this is probably going to be over here. It appears that the suspect is obeying the commands of officers. They have their guns drawn. They're hiding behind the doors of the vehicle. They're talking to the suspect right now, more than likely telling him to turn around, keep his hands up, and then lay face down on the asphalt there. And it appears, why don't you go a little tighter? We have to be careful in these situations, but it appears the suspect is obeying their commands. It looks like there might be another person in the back seat. We thought initially only one.
I see, yeah. You're right.
The driver, but it appears we have another person in the car.
Well, and that, if this was a stolen vehicle, that person looks to be in the back seat. We have no word as if this was a carjacking. I suppose that's a possibility, but they have to treat this person as a suspect. So now they're going to have to, then they'll have to clear the car after they get the set. But you could see, Scott, you could see the hand out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, you certainly could, and they do have to treat this person as a suspect. At least
there may be more.
There may not be. Wow, there may be more. There may be several in there. It's interesting because the initial unit that we heard pick this up on the freeway said only one. So maybe they were ducking down. Maybe it just couldn't tell because of the windows. But it looks like there's going to be at least three. Are those hands on the right side sticking out?
Well,
yeah, so it looks like at least three people were inside the vehicle.
Can you imagine being in the back seat of a car driven like that?
Yeah.
At 100+ miles an hour on the freeway into oncoming traffic when he was on surface streets?
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the conversation? What they're telling the driver, like, please, no, stop, just pull over.
Well, and that could be one reason why maybe he eventually did pull up. I mean, we only conjecture, but at some point, the people in the vehicle might have had some sway on the driver saying it's just time, and so here we are now. Let's see if the other person gets out, or if that, there's another person coming out.
Yeah, so we're on Sepulveda Boulevard, just south of the 105 freeway, south of LAX. So Sepulveda is shut down right now, southbound lanes, northbound is open. And it looks like this is going to be the final person that was on board, backing up towards officers, but obeying their commands. Now, once they have him into custody, they haven't been telling him to lay face down. It looks like they're going to rush him real quick here with his hands up. They still have to clear the vehicle, so they are going to come up, make sure there's nobody else inside that car before they go, code 4, and this whole thing is actually over.
Well, Scott, one thing I noticed
fortunately, no one got hurt.
When this person was getting out of the vehicle, the damage to the right side of the vehicle made it difficult for him to open that back door. So it doesn't look like there's anyone else in there, but I don't know if that passenger side door looks like they gave it the clear.
Yeah, it's all clear.
Okay.
So, boy, I tell you,
well, Scott, that was remarkable.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Scott Reif, live in Air 7 HD. 3 people now in custody, or at least being in custody. We don't know if they're under arrest because we don't know the roles of all of the people involved. But a stolen vehicle pursuit has now come to an end after an incredibly dangerous series of moves. We will be back to wrap up this edition of Eyewitness News at 11 a.m. We'll check on your weather, so stay with us.